All right, and right here you can see these are the fleeing. This is his turn, and those bowmen fled again. They just barely missed the board edge, and it really would have been nice if they had just gone all the way off the board, but that didn't happen. And his other unit, they turned a little bit to prepare to receive the Savage Boy charge. And then this actually surprised me a little bit because I didn't quite realize how nasty. But he charges in with his his White Lions, and this actually was a really good move on his part, even though I don't think he knew it, because in order to call a Wah, which I would have liked to do against these White Lions, your Orc War Boss has to charge, and so he charged in and denied me of my Wah. And then what he's going to do is on his turn is he casts a spell on them. It's Flaming Sword of Ruin or whatever, but it gives them a +1 to hit, and they're already hitting on or +1 to wound. I mean, and they're already wounding on a 2+. So by the rules, and it's been FAQ'd wrongly in my opinion, but anyway, because this is a dice game and nothing should be automatic. But according to the FAQ, this means that they will automatically wound. So yeah, and in the back, you see they finish off this last stone thrower. And there's the picture of Flaming Sword of Ruin, which I think Ruin's kind of appropriate. And what happened is he killed 27, that's right, 27 Black Orcs. My Black Orcs did manage to come back strong with the Orc War Boss and the BSB, and they did 17 wounds back, but still, since he charged, it cancels out I still lost by 10, and that right there, what you see is my double ones I rolled to stick around. So, whatever happened, at least I had a little bit of luck on my side, which in a way it kind of made up, not entirely from that one animosity roll in the first turn, but in a little bit it made up for it. So I can't complain about that. All right, continuing on, this is my turn in 3, and my Savage Orcs, what's left of them. As you can see, there's about less than 10 models, and the Chariot charge into what looks like there's 34 Sea Guard left in there. And what ends up happening is they end up he kills them all off. Next picture is my other Chariot gets into the flank of those White Lions just barely, and he ends up in a way almost saving the day, as he's going to do some impact hits and reduce the number of attacks my Black Orcs end up taking. In the back there, I move my Night Goblins, because at this point I'm thinking maybe I should just get them away from those Shadow Warriors and just live to save the points. And there's the dead Savage Orcs. He killed them to a man in the first round of combat. He did enough attacks and he wiped them out before they got to hit. And there's my Savage Orc Shaman. He managed to flee and get away, and the Chariot also fled and got away. And you can see it's popped through the boar boys there. And right there you can see the combat continues. That's what's left. I've got 2 Black Orcs left in there, my BSB and Lord Orcturious, and the Chariot. So going on, this is High Elf turn 4. And what this is picture, I believe, is showing that my guys, he charged my boar boys and my shaman, and I just fled. So and then he just couldn't get him after that. And over here you see he moves closer to my Night Goblins, and this right here is showing he shot and killed my fleeing Chariot. Yeah. And over on the right, the trolls that I haven't mentioned, he shoots them as well, and they go from 4 trolls to 1 troll. So yeah, again, then it's that Fire Wizard. Fire Wizards, by the way, great against anything with regeneration. And right here, this is this combat, and eventually it ends up looking like that with just his champion left on his turn. And I really wish, I think I ruled poorly for Lord Orcturious, and he only killed one of those White Lions. If he had done an extra wound, which he probably should have, then I would have been free to charge or march forward with my guys on my turn. and maybe I could have done something, at least gone after one of those wizards, or done something anyway. But here it is, my turn 4. All my guys rally, and you can see we go on the my troll charges in, and he charges the bolt thrower, and so he's going to start fighting and beating up on some bolt throwers. So I finally actually did manage to get to the bolt throwers, but at this point there's not too much for those bolt throwers to shoot. Here's my night goblins. They've reformed long ways to get as many shots as possible into those shadow warriors, and as it turns out, I actually end up killing quite a few of them. This picture right here is awesome. I rolled, I think, 4 or 5 dice, or 5 dice, I think, got off the souped up version of Foot of Gork, and I stomped about 22 Seaguard. Stomped once, got 10, stomped or 11, stomped once again, and got another 11 or 12, and it just, yeah, absolutely devastated that unit. But being high leadership high elves, they stuck around. So there's my shooting, and you can see I think I shot really well and killed 4 or 5 at least of those shadow warriors, maybe even more. And finally, this you see is I finally killed that last white lion, and I reformed to look like that, so that shoot at my characters there. So going on to turn 5, he moves his shadow warriors around to my flank and shoots at them a little bit. And right here, my troll manages to kill 1 bolt thrower and goes on into the next one. And my chariot actually makes a charge in against that rallied unit of 10 bowmen, and it ends up actually just going right through them. Here you'll see that going on my turn 5, and you can see I turned and so I could shoot him again and shot him down, shot those guys down a little bit there, so they're getting low in number. And the next you see, there's my orc shaman. He actually charged in with what was left of the boar boys into those Seaguard to try and finish him off, or at least kill the BSB. And he ends up he ended up losing. He just made his ward saves, and so I didn't kill the BSB like I hoped. And he ended up doing enough. He killed the other boar boy. I think there was only one, I think, at that point with him, and I ended up. Because I didn't have any banners at that point or any standards or anything like that, I ended up losing and fled. But I got away. And going on, there's the board chariot and the troll, which finishes off another bolt thrower. And those high elves were also toast right there. And so it was free to reform. And I was, hopefully, it depends on whether or not his bolt throwers were going to... I think I would have pursued off the board to save my chariot, and then brought it back on at the end of the game. So, and then my troll might have been able to kill 1 more bolt thrower in the process. But yeah, as it stood, this was the end of time. I had this game took at least 5 hours, and so at that point we just called it because really he was just going to shoot whatever I had left. Kind of like actually on his last little act was actually to he shot and did a number to he shot Orcturious and the BSB and actually killed both of them. Did 3 wounds to each of them through flaming shooting and through bow shooting, and he would have continued the process. He still had another bolt thrower, and he still had a couple shots from his Seaguard, and then he had that fire mage, which was going to probably just continue to try and burn up whatever was left of my guys. But still, maybe on my turn 6 I could have cast Foot of Gork, or maybe Headbutt. I had that spell, and last time I cast it he used a Dispel Scroll, but maybe I could have cast that and taken out one of his casters. So I gave him the game because I had to go. In the end, I definitely think he was up enough points to win. I'm not sure how much his Shadow Warriors were, but I think there was a High Elf character in there, and then he still had 2 other High Elf casters, and so he had to have had at least 700 points on the board, whereas I only had about 3 or 4. Well, I still have my Shaman, so I would have had about 600 points on the board. So it was marginable. It was enough, though, that he pretty much had it locked in, I think. But, I mean, from the start of the game, you do what you can. We'll go with things learned next. All right, going on with things learned. High elf players should take Shadow Warriors. I think it's one of those cases. I remember playing Skaven, thinking and looking at gutter runners, thinking they were way overcosted, and and no way were they going to make up their points. But the thing is I think they're worse on paper than they are in real life. I think on the game table, things like Shadow Warriors and the gutter runners and all those things, they look like they're not worth their points. And math hammer wise, they tend not to be. But I think in game terms, I think that they actually are. So high elf players should take that. And then I've also found out orc armies really don't like getting shot at, and especially magic missiles tend to hurt. So there might actually be something to fielding magic resistance. I don't know. I'm gonna have to play around with the numbers and figure out that. And I'm thinking the banner of swiftness might be an excellent idea for an orc player, as it will help you to get across the table faster. And so these armies that are gonna rely and try and gunline you won't be able to, because you'll have that extra 2 inches or 4 inches in 2 turns or whatever it is to in order to make it more feasible. And additional things learned: animosity. It's still a factor. It's still a problem that you have to take into consideration. It's nowhere near as bad as it was in 7th, but in 8th, it's still there, and it can still mess with your battle plans. So this goes on to my second point. I think I'm going to rethink my list a little bit, and the main thing is I think I'm going to drop my Savage Orc Biggins, actually. So yeah. So rethinking my list and probably dropping the Biggins. Maybe doing something more with board boys to turn them into a hard hitting unit, and sticking my shaman into black orcs so that I always have that level 4 caster. Anyway, thanks for listening to the report.